Dumelang, hello, hi, Banabeso. I come back. Thank you so much, guys, for the love that you showed me on my previous video where I was announcing that I'm taking a bit of a break from vlogs, but I'm going to focus more on sit downs. I think it will be easier for me to record, edit, and post it out without feeling like it's draining and it's taking a lot from my time and all these other things that I spoke about in the previous video. So really I appreciate the love, guys, and I appreciate those who are going to stay for the sit downs, and then if the vlogs come, if they don't come back but you stay, I would really appreciate it. Banabeso. Lebitso la ka ke Dibuseng Tshala. Welcome to my YouTube channel if this is your first time. If it's not your first time, so grateful for you, Banabeso. So if it's your first time, remember to like, share, and subscribe. So I previously I previously used to upload vlogs and things like that, but I would prefer if my channel was more on topics that I'm passionate about, that I can share, that I feel like, you know what, I can add something worthy and I can share what I've learned. So I'm just gonna try to ease into all this, so bear with me, you know. So I was working from the office today and decided to finish off at home. I'm done with work now, so I decided to make myself a nice cup of Earl Grey tea. I love tea, and also I love coffee, but I can't have coffee after 2 p.m. otherwise I will struggle to sleep. So I'm a tea girl in the afternoon, so I'll have Earl Grey tea now, but then it will be rooibos after hours, you know. But I love tea. I'm a hot beverage type of person, you know. So I was talking to a friend of mine. So my friend was in Afriski during the school holidays now with her family, and then she came back. She didn't have signal, and she came back and she saw the post and she saw my missed calls, and she was so worried to what's happening. But I explained to her and things like that, just like, no, I'm gonna make sense, you feel what. And the thing that I told her while we were on a call with her, I told her that I was writing in my journal, no? And I was writing about, you know, just getting my feelings out. I need to leave this opportunity cost, whatever I said in the previous video. So I said that to myself before I, you know, started talking about it, because I had to think about it, you know. And I thought about it for a bit before I made that video, you know. So I told her that as I was journaling, I turned the page, and on the other page were the topics that I wanted to talk about in my sit downs. And then I remembered, actually in Feb, my plan was to start vlogging, get used to being consistent on YouTube, and then slowly allow myself to do the sit downs, because I told myself, for I want to do YouTube and I wanted to do sit downs, but I couldn't get myself to do it for over 3 years. So I thought, let me do something that's going to force me to show up consistently, and then when I'm comfortable, I'll do the sit downs, you know. So I think what happened as well is I did the vlogs for too long and thought that's what I'm supposed to do. Actually forgot, or actually no, this was just always meant to be a start, because I want to contribute in a way that feels comfortable for me and in a way that I feel like adds a lot of value. So the sit downs for me, I feel like they add a lot of value. So I'm also hoping to have that type of audience that appreciates those type of things, because there are a lot of people that do that, but each person must choose how they want to contribute. And honestly, this is how I feel like I'm supposed to, you know. So yeah, so the thing that I want to talk about today, I actually think it's a good topic for the second half of the year. So today I want to give you tips on how to get unstuck. So you know, when water is flowing through a pipe, it flows freely unless there's something inside the pipe. that reduces the flow, and then not so much water flows anymore, or it stops completely. I feel like as people, we also get stuck, and we know we are stuck, we feel it, but we don't know how to get out of that space of being stuck. I get stuck quite a lot. Um, more than I would like to, but I think in all of that, I've developed a way where I can get myself unstuck. So I thought, let me just share some of my tips on how to get unstuck if you find yourself stuck and you don't feel like you can move. So what does being stuck feel like? It feels like you've got so many things that you want to do, but you can't get to them. It feels like you want to do things, but you don't have the motivation or the energy, and you just feel frustrated, and every day you feel like you are getting behind, and every day you feel so bad about yourself because you tell yourself things that you want to do, but you never get to do them, and you don't have real actual reasons why you're not able to do that. You are healthy, you've got the time, you waste the time either on social media or some other useless task or habit that does not contribute to your goals, but you still feel bad that you're not chasing your goals. So I do get stuck quite a bit, and for me personally, I know I get stuck. I sometimes and when I say sometimes, I say like more than half of the time, I overestimate my ability and time to do things. I want to do a lot of things. This, that, and the other, And then I end up having so much on my plate that I don't even know where to start anymore. And then I get stuck and I get left behind each day on those different things, So I usually have to, shock myself back into being unstuck and getting started again, And I'm just going to discuss 5 points with you. Number 1 is going to sound counterintuitive, but you are not stuck. You're actually not stuck. This is a realization that I always tell myself, that you are not stuck. You're actually stuck in your head because you have a lot of thoughts and feelings about things. But physically, you're not stuck. You can stand up, you can do this with your hands, and you can actually go and do something, So I think the first realization that actually gives me my power back is to remind myself that I'm actually not stuck. Stuck is a state of mind. It's something that's in the head with thoughts and stuff. But in reality, I can still do this. I'm not stuck. You are only stuck if you can't move physically, if you can't do anything, So most of us, stuck is a state of mind and not necessarily a physical thing that we are in. So that is the first realization. So step 2, once you realize and acknowledge that you are not stuck, you have to do something to remind yourself that you're not stuck. So step number 2 is to do something physical. By that, I mean take a walk, go to the gym, jump around, get up and down stairs or something, but do something that's going to raise your heart rate for a bit, because once you do that and get the blood moving, you get the energy moving, and that energy of being stuck, because I also feel like it's not mental, it's also physical energy that gets stuck into your body. So you need to actually move, and when you move, your body releases endorphin and all these other feel good hormones, and then you immediately feel better. So step number 1, recognize that you are not stuck. It's a state of mind. Number 2, do something that is physical, that is actually going to get you unstuck or make you realize that, you know what, I'm not stuck. So once you have done a physical workout and gotten the energy out and your blood rushing, your mood will be enhanced. You can never do any type of physical exercise and your mood is not enhanced. And I just want to tell you something. That tip is probably going to bore you guys, because a lot of things that I do physical comes first, because you must remember that you have your physical state, you have your mental state, and you have your spiritual as well, which is on a higher plane. So you've got the physical, mental, and spiritual. But you have to understand, even if you understand yourself spiritually, even if you understand yourself mentally, you are actually in the physical world as we speak. You are experiencing what it's like being a human. So you also have to master the physical plane. And a lot of the things that are a mess and that you can't touch, that are mental and spiritual, I personally feel like you can always organize with the physical, because we are still in these bodies. So we are experiencing being human, and to feel better as humans is to do things that human beings do, and being physical is one of those key things that help you. So a lot of my videos, I don't even think there's a video that's not going to contain go to the gym, take a walk and stuff, because I'm a big fan of that, because I feel like that is the biggest life hack to conquering yourself, to avoiding anxiety, to avoiding depression and all of that. Physical activity is the key. If you don't come back for other videos, that is what I want you to pick up. But please do come back. Have you subscribed? Have you liked? Have you commented? Are you going to comment at the end? Guys, don't do that to me. So the third one, now that you've got your blood rushing, take a pen and paper. I'm a big fan. Pen and paper, journal. So write down all your problems. This is what I do when I'm stuck. And remember, when you're stuck, it's not because of one thing. It's a lot of things. They've just come together now, and it's a lot, and you're overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. So what I usually do, I write every single problem of mine down. Every one of them. Whether it is a financial problem, whether it's a physical problem, work, all the things I need to do for work, all the things I need to do related to my kids, for my business, every single thing. And the reason why I do that is because when you write down all your problems, you actually get them out of your system and onto the pen and paper. And even the action of writing things down actually organizes your mind before you even do anything with that information. But it finally finds expression, and then you're able to get it out and put it all out there. When you are done with this, you can make the list as long as you want. Sometimes, what was happening that time? I don't remember, but I remember there's a page that I had to, fold in the middle. I wrote on this side and I wrote on that side all the problems that I had. And then after that, here's what I do. I take two highlighters, different colors. It can be green or pink or whatever. And then you highlight all the ones that need God, that need a higher power, something that you are not able to do. You highlight all of those, and then you highlight the ones that you can do something about. And why do I do this? You need to understand that certain things are in your hands and that certain things are not in your hands. And if you spend too much time thinking about things that are not in your hands, you stress yourself, because this is not something that you can do anything about. And then you get yourself stuck because you have this problem, you think about it all the time, you know the solution, but you don't know how to get to it. So you put that on the side. An example of such things is you want a promotion. Obviously, on your side, you can upskill yourself, you can update your CV, you can start applying for jobs, but it's going to need some level of divine intervention for the role, to show up, the correct role, the correct company, and those things are not in your control. So those you put to God, and what you do is you are left with, guys, get a video. So when you do that, you are left with things that you actually have power to influence. If you don't have power to influence something, thinking about it, fighting about it only adds to your anxiety and stress, because you really cannot do anything about it. Close the door, don't make noise. If it's raining outside, you need an umbrella. That's what you need. You can't stop the rain, So that is where your mind must go, and immediately you'll find yourself being peaceful, because now you are only left with things that you can influence. If you are behind on your physical goals, you know that, okay, I'm behind, I haven't been going to the gym for months and things like that, but I can take out the clothes tonight and force myself with all my might in the morning. That is something you can do something about. You cannot go back and make up for the time that you've lost. So you let that go. You focus simply on what you can focus on. So you highlight the ones that are for you, and you highlight the ones that are for God. And then those ones you put aside, pray about it. If you're a praying person, leave it aside and say, this is what is under my control. And whatever is under your control, you have to be serious about it and take responsibility. You can't put your head in the sand anymore and pretend that your problems don't exist. Because there are people that do that actually. And I used to do that as well with certain problems. But it's not going to go away. Some of it is not going to go away until you take responsibility. So you take the ones that are under your responsibility and you commit to yourself that you are going to work on those. But let's say you are left with 10 things. 10 is still a lot, and you can't create problems over 6 months and only solve them in a day. So the next step is to take the smallest step towards one goal. Let's say you're trying to, guys, now I like being active. But let's say it was going to be going back to the gym, and you can't go to the gym the next day and exercise for an hour. You haven't been there for 6 months. You can tell yourself, you know what, tomorrow the smallest step I can take is to take a 10-minute walk. A 10-minute walk is such a small goal that you will judge yourself if you don't do it. I mean, you should. But also, it's not so big that your mind can actually talk you out of it. Because you must also understand, when you are setting goals, if you set something that is too difficult, too impossible, your own mind is going to work against you. And let me tell you, it's very difficult to win against your own mind, especially if it's not something that you are used to doing. Just assume that your mind is stronger and actually work with it instead of go against it until you are strong enough. And hopefully, if you stay on this channel of mine, we can work on that mind so that you can be strong-willed and that you can go against it, and then you can make it your master instead of it making you its slave, like maybe it is at the moment. I do not know. So out of the 10 goals, you pick one goal, you take the smallest step towards one goal, and you try to be consistent for 2 weeks. In the space of 2 weeks, you would have built consistency, you would have built confidence and trust in yourself again, and then you can start looking at other problems. You can't try to solve all of them at once, unless there are things that you can't wait on, things that have timelines, things that are emergencies and things like that. So even with those 10, you put them in priority and you try to do one small thing each day towards all of them to see if you can't improve. So now you don't necessarily get all your energy back all at once, but what you do is you start being unstuck. And once you start being unstuck, the thing that you need to do there is to be consistent, not with trying to achieve your goals, but in staying in that state of mind of being unstuck. Once you hold that momentum, it's easier to hold it on for a longer time. So the way to prevent being unstuck again is to not allow yourself to try to do too many things at once, because the moment you do that, that's the easiest way to get stuck, and you feel worse the second time when you do the same thing, and it gets harder and harder to get unstuck once you've tried to get unstuck once, if that makes sense. I'm going to give you the final step now to getting unstuck. You have to schedule your days. You have to treat your life like it's an operation. You have to know, don't just wake up and try to have your days as normal, because then you are still going to repeat the patterns of being a stuck person. So number one, you need to plan your days. You need to know what time you're going to wake up and what are you going to do when you wake up. You can't just wake up and just think, because you'll go back to sleep. You need to wake up and tell yourself, when I wake up at this time, I'm going to have coffee. After I have coffee, I'm going to read, or I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to take a run, or I'm going to the gym. And then you're coming back, are you taking a shower, going to work? And then when you get to work, you start with your list, you schedule what you're trying to do, and you tell yourself, there's one thing that I must do today. Let's say part of why you are stuck is you are left behind with a lot of things that you need to do for your household. Let's say you need to buy cleaning material, and you also need to get the gas, and you also need to fix this, that, and the other. Don't try to fix all your house problems all at once. Just tell yourself, okay, mop o robehile, I need to replace the mop. Let me replace the mop today. Tomorrow, let me call the guy who needs to fix that thing on the wall. You fix that. The other day, what do you need to do? Gas. Okay, gas is urgent, but you know what I'm saying. But for house problems, after you've categorized it, just try to do one thing each day towards the problems in that category, if that makes sense. So let's just go over it to summarize it. Number one, to trying to get unstuck is to realize that you are actually not physically stuck, you are stuck mentally. It's not something that you can touch, feel. It's something that you experience in your body, in your mind, that you're feeling stuck. So what you do is you do some physical action, which is step two. Physical action to actually prove to yourself and remind yourself that you're not stuck. You are still in this world. You can still do something. You can still live, and just to get rid of some of that energy. And once you are back and you are energized, you write everything down, all the problems that you have, you get them out of your system. Let me tell you, you will feel much better, I promise you. And when you are done with that, you take your two highlighters, you highlight the ones that need God, the ones that need you, and the ones that need God, you put them aside. The ones that need you, you have your whole to-do list. And then you check those and you ask yourself, what is the simplest thing that I can do every day towards this one goal? And you commit to that for 2 weeks. And what you do is you try to solve one thing at a time, and you focus on making sure that you keep the momentum of someone who is not stuck. Number 5, or is it number 6? Very important, schedule your days. Don't wake up and just go willy-nilly with the wind wherever the wind blows. Don't do that to yourself. Wake up at a certain time every morning. Tell yourself, what's the plan? Are you waking up, coffee, exercise? And then are you going to work? And then what are you going to do when you get there? You do your to-do list and you tell yourself what is the one thing that you must do that day to actually feel good about yourself. And then the last step, which is bonus, guys, go to bed early. The magic in that, let me tell you, we need 7 hours of sleep. You need to sleep, but in order to sleep, you need to be disciplined. So you need to leave your home. A lot of people don't realize that most of their time is lost on their phone, and you are not doing anything but scrolling, and there's nothing wrong with that. It can be a lot of fun, but be aware of yourself. Be aware of how much time you spend. Even if you have to time yourself, tell yourself, I'm only going to be on social media for 45 minutes. If you don't do that, 3 hours can go by, and Bona, you will not know where the time went. If you go there for 3 hours, make sure that it's something that you planned and you've got a reason why you're doing that. But otherwise, just scrolling and wasting your life, guys, it's not one of the best things that you can do for yourself, especially if you're trying to be a person who is going to be unstuck. Now, guys, I hope you gained something from this. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to see what you guys think in the comments. I hope the sound is good. I've ordered a mic Hopefully it will come through soon. I hope you'll enjoy the sit downs. I think I'm going to enjoy it. I think I'm going to, and I'll definitely show up. So guys, here's what I want to hear in the comments. I want to hear the part that resonated with you. What are you going to practice? What do you do? Maybe I can learn from you as well. And then you can also give me topics for the future. I have quite a few, but I also want to know, what do you guys want to know from me? Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And guys, see you in the next one. Bye.